Welcome back, guys, to another Decklist profile. We have today the new OP09 leader, Monkey D. Luffy, Black Purple this time. There are actually a lot of Monkey D. Luffys nowadays, and I feel like there are kind of too many. There will come out like even two more. So I feel like there should be some new leaders for the game. I mean, it's also cool to always have a Luffy active, but I feel like there is also the purple Luffy at the moment, which is even stronger, I would say, or I would argue it's kind of like one of the strongest deck at the moment. So I feel like they really don't need to overprint and overdo the Luffy as a leader, at least. So would have been cool if in future there are some more leaders, some more different leaders. Also strong different leaders, but I mean, yeah, this is not the discussion of like the discussion for today, or the topic of today. It's is more the decklist in general, the new leader, and I think I have three or four. One, two, three, four. I have four gameplays for us today, and yeah, let's have a look on the decklist. It's more stronger. I would say it's stronger on the purple side and only some small black side cards. Nearly everything is purple. There's a lot of combination cards from the purple Luffy, the Sanji, the Usopp, the Onami. There are a lot of cards, also the Gum Gum Giants, which you're playing in the new purple Luffy structure deck. Kinda the leader from OP05. But there are also cards from the structure deck which are more used here, for example, like the Lightning, and also from OP09, the Frankie, which are, yeah, some cool additions. Also the OP09 Roaring Zoro, they are more made for this deck and less for the other. So I feel like some good extensions for this deck, some power-ups, I would say. We also playing the Sanji from the structure deck from the, I think it's the 11 one? No, it's the 14th one. And also, of course, the Gecko Moria. Taking this card's benefits is really nice. It's a really strong card. So, yeah, we definitely take this one as well. I took this decklist also from OPO Meta. From OP09 from the east side, but I mean we are now technically in the OP09 meta as well, so yeah, maybe there are some newer gameplays and some newer decklists as well for the west side, but I felt like I should check out this decklist because it's so different than the other ones. Like the other ones are usually on a heavier structure deck build, like more like these two cards, and also the other Luffy and Sanji and of course like this one too, but a little more on the structure deck side and less on the like the Kaido, the Law, maybe a little Shiki, but I felt like this leader's decklist was way different, so I felt like why not checking it out, giving it a try, because I felt like the other one was definitely not my type. I enjoyed the more normal purple Luffy deck list there a little more. So let's go into the gameplays. We are starting again with a Boa gameplay. Feels like we can already set the Boa as a standard starting game. But no, of course it's not like this. I'm not searching for Boa leaders or Boa gameplays for the first round. It was just yeah, random, I would say. Okay, so we have our starting hand, which is kind of mediocre, I would say. I definitely should have mulligan, but I was kind of scared. This was the first game I was playing, so I was a little scared that I got a wrong hand, and I felt like it wasn't bad. It was just not the perfect situation. I'm playing out the Black Maria. He played the Kaya before and also the blocker, so this was a little different than the other one. He's playing some tech choices like the Kaya and the Law blocker, which is also interesting to have some different builds. Now he's playing the Law, giving us our 3-Don Black Maria back to hand, which is kind of sad. Also, you have to remember sometimes it's a little confusing playing a 4 life leader and a 5 leader life leader. So definitely remember what you're playing, because then sometimes it's more easier to take the first life or definitely fight for the first life. So yeah, we don't want to take our life too fast because we only have 4. So in this situation, we are playing the blocker. The Frankie is always a good choice because he helps us ramp. Because even if you didn't read the leader and have no clue about the leader at all, he I can explain it a little to you. He ramps Don. So if you're losing to Don, he's ramping. Oh, maybe I can show you even. He's ramping there. So when 2 or more Don cards are removed, which is usually the case, especially from the Frankie, for example, or also for the Gum Gum Lightning, that's why it's kind of strong card from the structure deck, you can then return to the Don deck. You can from play set up to 1 from your Don deck as active and up to 1 from your Don deck as rested. So you get your 2, basically you just get your 2 Dons back. Now we're going a little more forward. We played the Black Maria, he gave it back to our hand. We took the life, took the Black Maria, because we didn't want it to counter out and keep our hand size. Get some new cards, and yeah, we're playing the Frankie, getting a Moria, which is really nice. You want to have some cards in the trash for Moria to play, but we are still not in a range for 8 Don turn, so yeah, I mean, we still have some time. That's what I wanted to say. So now we're thinking about countering out and maybe using our blocker, because it's also nice sometimes to let them go for the Moria, because you can bring the Frankie back, and then technically you can also ramp and use the leader ability from Luffy, which is kind of nice. I mean, technically it's not a real ramp because you are not winning a Don, but you get at least 2 Dons back. So I mean, it's probably still called ramping, but it's actually not a plus ramping, it's just an even ramping, I would say. Also, you get another active Don, which is kind of nice. So it feels more like setting one of your Dons up and getting your other one back. The Zoro is also a really strong choice for the early game. Kind of sad that we got him so late, because for the ramping is kind of nice to play him if you don't have the Frankie also. And it's only a 3 cost 5,000 character, which is really nice. So now we are using the event, the rope event. I'm actually forgot the name about it, but anyways, we are bringing, or maybe we have a picture of it. Yeah, there it is. Top Knot is the name, and we are returning 2 Dons, and then as you can see, we can KO one of the or did we show it for a second at least? Be kind of nice if we can read it. Oh, it was just in microsecond. Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, the card gets trashed in anyways. Oh no, bottom deck. There was the, on the bottom right side, there was the writing on, it gets bottom deck, yeah. I remembered right. So, yeah, this situation probably doesn't have much to do. We don't have much to do. We could play the Sanji, but then we cannot KO something. Sanji can KO something if there is a 6 cost or higher character on play. This is also nice, nice synergy with the Sanji, because your leader gives everyone plus 1,000. And for 1 Don if you attach 1 Don to him. So Sanji then technically can KO 5 cost. But yeah, we are getting him back to hand with the Jizo? I forgot the name as well. Too many names at the moment. But anyways, we're getting it back to hand. Jozu is the name, right? He's playing a blocker, he's going into life, we're taking the life. Did we take the life? No, we're countering out. So we have too many counter cards in hand, and also we want to have some Beppos in trash for the Gecko Maria, right? Okay, then he's playing the blocker and we are back again. Yeah, we are using the Kaido because we want to KO the Josu. Because otherwise he doesn't have any threats for us, and the Kaido also has Rush, so it's really strong card in this situation. Yeah, he's taking the first life, which is kind of sad that we only KO'd or took the first life from him. He's playing a Jinbei Doffy combo, which is quite strong with the blocker. Having a threat, a 5000 attacker on Field is nice. Playing the Kaya for recycle his hand. We are getting another Gecko Moria from life. And now it's time for playing the Gecko Moria. We can play the Frankie blocker, we can ramp, which is nice. Getting the 2 Don back. And getting 2 cards, trash 1 card. Or first trash 1, then getting 2 cards. It's slightly small. It's like a small but important difference. Because usually, yeah, a lot of cards are way better if they can draw 2 and then trash 1, because you can also trash 1 from the cards you draw. But in this situation, it's like a little worse. And then we're taking the Beppo. Beppo gives 1000 to our leader if some Don got returned to the Don deck. So yeah, we're going into life with our leader. He's playing the Red Rock and putting our Kaido under at the bottom of our deck, which is kind of sad. We can technically just block, but we can also counter. I mean, 6000 is usually like in counter range for a 2k. Maybe we can use our blocker. No, we are just straight up countering. We have so many cards in hand, and also a little scared about putting at this point. Like, we are way over it. So just just countering with some cards and bring them to trash. It's nice that we can use the Gecko Moria again for the Frankie to get another blocker. Going into the Jinbei because he really doesn't have any threats at all. But he's countering out quite aggressively. So we're playing another Gecko Moria. Now we're playing out the Frankie, and actually I think we're leaving it this way. We don't need to exchange the Beppo for another Beppo because it would have been rested anyways. So now 1000 again for our leader from Beppo, ramping the Dons again. And yeah, well, I think I was, at this moment I was thinking a little about giving Beppo the 3 Don. That's why I left them open and didn't use them for the Jinbei. But I felt like because of the Gum Gum Giants and also only having 1 life, it's better maybe to leave them. Okay, he is using his Gravity Blade to bottom deck both of our Frankies. Maybe not the best decision, because 1 was already rested. But yeah, I mean, minus is minus. Losing some cards is always sad, and he still doesn't have any blocker. Maybe he's using the Kaya so aggressively because he wanna search for the blocker. Because Kaya is actually, yeah, as a 2k kind of important character. So now we can use the Gum Gum Giant, discarding 1 2k, drawing another Gum Gum Giant. We have now all 4 in play, which is also quite rare, I would say. And definitely also not something you want to see. I feel like usually 2 or 3 are fine. If the game takes longer, then maybe you want to see 1 more, but you're always losing 2 Don. So yeah, if you're playing 2 at once, you are then only in an 8 Don turn, which is sometimes a little sad. Okay, so now at this situation, yeah, we're just playing our Sanji probably to get another attacker, and then he surrenders. Let's check. We have a 7. Could have, yeah. He probably could have. Oh no, the Beppo is giving 1 life if the Sanji is resting 1 of the Kaya or the Sengoku. Then we would have taken 1000 extra. This is a 7000, so we could have used the 7000 to go into Boa, and then went 9 into his life, and he couldn't counter out. Yeah, anyways, he would have lost. Even if we would just have 8 and 8, then anyways he would have lost. So yeah, this was the first game against Boa, and you can see the deck is actually quite nice, and actually also a little different than just the purple Luffy, because some people, of course, would say like, oh, why are you not just playing the stronger Luffy? I feel like this one has some other differences. It's not like a fast aggro deck. It's more like a little longer playing board building deck, especially with a lot of blockers from the Gecko Moria, with the Frankie as well, and then always getting +1 card is actually quite nice. So yeah, and this turn we are playing against Doffy, one of the strongest decks at the moment, when not the strongest deck, or even if not the strongest deck. And yeah, we are going second, which is maybe not the best. I feel like for Black Purple Luffy, it's better to start first and having the Searcher. So now he's going 7 into life. He got the Weevil and also the Blackbeard on board. We are countering out of it because Doffy is quite aggressive and we really don't want to take too many lives too early. We KOing the we're KOing the Weevil, going 5 into lead. This time we had the proper sequence, playing the Zoro and not using the effect, because the on-play effect, because we already ramped it on. Otherwise we wouldn't get them back. And the Zoro, it's not an extra or an additional buff you get, it's just for free if you want for the leader, I would say. So he's playing the Boa, setting his life cards up. So now he can go into our life, playing a Law, giving us our Rorana Zoro back to hand, which is kinda unlucky because we cannot establish a board, and he actually can establish a board quite well. But our event helps us a lot in this situation, like KOing always or bottom deck the 4K characters is really strong. The 4 cost, the 4 cost. Yeah, 2 times the event is really strong. Also for the ramping. I mean, now we have the Zoro, but for the first time maybe was kind of nice to get it. Okay, and he's playing another Boa. He actually has quite a good hand for characters. Maybe a Jinbei would have been better at this situation, but I mean, yeah, giving him a 2K is always nice if he takes 6 into lead, but he really wanted to use the Doffy leader, so that's why he only had 6. He's playing the Reveal, drawing a card, quite nice. His hand size is getting a little low, but he has 4 characters on board, so yeah, I think it's not too bad. We can play the Moria, which is really nice, and we also have the Frankie in trash and the Beppo, which is probably one of the best combos you can play out. Ramping our Don back, having 1 Don up for Gum Gum Giant, and attacking with our Luffy into Weevil for maybe getting a 2K from hand, really nice. Now attacking again. Of course he used the Boa blocker, and yeah, technically we didn't need it to, but I feel at this point like we are getting a really big board, so we could have afforded to lose the Zoro. And yeah, he's playing the Gravity Blade to bottom deck some of our cards, kinda unlucky. He's using the Blackbeard to carrying our Beppo. He really wanted to make sure that we don't have any benefits besides our Moria. Okay, at this point we are a little unprotected. It's nice that we got at least a big character. Moria would have been better, but we still take the Kaido, KOing the blocker, and now having a rush card to go into his characters is really nice. So we can attack now the Law and even KOing the Blackbeard. I'm thinking a little about if it's worth it to go into the Blackbeard, but I feel like definitely take all of his board. And we still have 2 Dons open. We don't need the Gum Gum Giant in this situation, I feel like, if we have a blocker, so why not using the Shiki? Was sad that we couldn't do the draw 1, trash 1. A little recycling would have been nice, especially for the Zoro, to get maybe a bigger character, maybe Gecko Moria, but I think it's still fine. So he got the 2K Draco Mihawk from his trash. I feel like at this point he actually didn't use so many gym bays, and he has a kind of special build with a lot of red hawks. Unlucky for us, as we play a lot of big characters. Usually a lot of Doffy decks don't play so many red hawks anymore. Some decks don't even play any. I mean, my, for example, doesn't even have one. Yeah, we're thinking about what we should do in this situation. The Sanji is quite nice, but having a 7 cost, 7 power attack is really nice, especially with Rush. But I wasn't sure if I can even gain Rush without resting a character. And also I wouldn't have gotten the ramp, which is always nice to get one extra Don active. Yeah, so I play the Sanji, and as you can see, I could have just put the Don back, ramp them. Always remember you have to ramp 2, and not every character can ramp 2. Some only can do 1. So he is really countering out so aggressively from carrying the Moria. I don't know why it's not a strong card, and maybe, I mean, some of the cards are definitely not the strongest, but some of them from his hand, like the Mihawk maybe, I think there was a Mihawk in his counter cards, would have been a better choice. So now he's trying to go really aggressive. Going into our life, we take it because we know we cannot do anything about it in this situation. So it was kind of risky to play the Sanji. Anyways, we are KOing now his board using the 2 Dons. For sure he cannot do anything about it, and we really want to play both Frankies in this turn to have protection for sure. I mean, maybe we can only play 1 Frankie if we want to. Let's see what we get from the Frankie. Ah no, never mind, because we can ramp, we can play the 2 Frankies and still have 1 Don open for the Gum Giant. So that's really nice. We are really protected at this situation. Having 3 2Ks, 1 1K, and Gum Giant, yeah, and he surrenders. He definitely is in a really bad situation here. Our board is full and his board is empty, he only has 2 lives, and he doesn't have any Raging Tigers event. So if he had a Raging Tigers event, probably he could have survived. Or maybe at least he could have tried to kill us, but we could have countered out for sure with this hand. So yeah, this was a little unlucky for our Doffy player that he didn't got his best combos, but it's not always playing 2 Jinbeis in a row. So yeah, I would say it's also kind of normal to expect Doffy to not always have the best combos from the best. Okay, we are taking the Searcher and we actually riff, which is really sad. It's always sad when you're playing a Searcher, and especially when you can search for 2 lives, 4 deck cards. Yeah, riffing there is really bad and feels really sad. Usually for 3, I can see that there's a chance, but for 4, I'm always expecting to get a card. And yeah, our opponent is playing the purple Luffy. It's really nice that we can start because purple Luffy is really strong first and kind of bad second. So we are a little favorite in this situation. But as kind of said, he got a search from Law and we didn't. Actually, that's why I took a little longer on the search, because I wanted to see why we couldn't search, because the Gum Giant is actually a Straw Hat card. But the problem is he can only take 2 cost or higher. So he cannot take the Gum Giant, which is probably a restriction. So it's not too strong as a searcher, probably. Okay, we're taking the Zoro, kinda nice. Would have been nice if we could have played it for the ramping, but we only have 2 Dons, so we're going straight into life. Luffy always doesn't wanna give people his life, because he usually wanna use it for his ramping. And he's not doing it. I don't know why. Maybe he's kind of happy with the dons he has at the moment, but or he want to play it a little more safe. So now we can play the Zoro, ramping, and have still 4 dons. Yeah, we're just using them for the lore, going into life, getting some extra hits into his life, getting some cards off his hands. He probably will not give us a life, and he only has 2Ks, which is kind of sad for him. So we're getting 2Ks, which is really nice for us. He's carrying our lore searcher, which is not so sad because we still have another one we can go into lore, which is nice. We are dropping the Nami because she's usually strong in the late game or in the for the Gecko Moria from Trash. So 4 cost, she's kind of expensive for a 4 cost card. Usually because of her effect, I think, but yeah, I think you usually want to have her in Trash, and the Frankie is, in my personal opinion, the better blocker. Anyways, he is attacking with the Bonclay into life, which I don't know actually if this was a good choice. I mean, he gets some life from us, but yeah, it feels like a little of a waste because now my lore can kill it. And then he's playing the strong combo Luffy plus Sangoro, which is really strong. We are thinking actually about KOing the Sanji with our Sanji. The only thing we need to do is give a Don to our leader. We have 8, so we could do it, but then is the question, what will we do with the other Don? I mean, 1 for sure for Gum Gum Giant, but the question is like, what are we doing with the other Dons? As usually we also want to ramp, so it's always a little sad if we cannot ramp. So I'm kind of heavily thinking on what is technically the best situation or the best things you can do here for getting some Don. He's giving us a 2K again. We're carrying the Sanji, so he cannot draw a card, which is quite important for us. He's taking a life again, which is sad for him because 1 life less for ramping. Also, he's already in a high Don turn, so maybe he actually doesn't want to ramp. I don't know. Yeah, we're countering some cards. He want to kill our board a little or make it a little smaller. Oh, he's actually playing the secret rare and he's ramping. Nice for him, but he doesn't have any Don open for a Gum Gum Giant, which is technically good for us, but we don't have any Moria or Kaido. I mean, the Kaido wouldn't be so strong in this situation anyways, because he can only KO a 6 cost or lower. But the Moria would have been really cool. So now we're playing the Frankie, trashing the Zoro because it's the only one without counter, and yeah, checking if we can use the Sanji, but it's only for 5 costs, so also not the best thing for us. So now we are checking if we can KO one of his characters with our Don, or if we really wanna do something different. The sequence here is kind of important, and I'm really thinking long about this turn because I feel like this is one of the important turns at the moment. Like, he is building some board, and if we're going for the wrong decision or for the wrong idea, then we probably will lose the game. So yeah, what are we doing? We're going straight into life. We are really pushy here. Actually, Luffy is usually the deck which goes deep into life, but he doesn't have any Gum Gum Giant Don open, so he cannot use it. So we're just going straight into life. We have a blocker on field. He has 3, maybe 4 attacks, but we are kind of safe with a lot of counter cards. In this situation, I'm doing a small mistake. I think I used the blocker. What I should have done is using the Gum Gum Giant and giving a 1K Sanji, or maybe not a Sanji, maybe a 2K, and then using the blocker for the Luffy. But I was a little scared that he's maybe playing something that can KO or something like the Sanji to rest our blocker. So that's why I used the blocker as fast as I could have used it. Yeah, so now we are taking the life. We don't need the trigger for getting another Don because we're already at 8 Don. We we maybe use the event later for KOing a blocker. So it's actually kind of strong. So now we're using the Gum Gum Giant, losing 2 Don, and we need to trash. We're trashing the Gecko Maria because we are already at the end of the game. So we just need cards which can let us finish. I don't know why he didn't KO the Sanji. Maybe he thought he can win the game. And he also didn't play the blocker. So I feel like in this situation, I feel like it was kind of bait also to give him the blocker and also make him believe that we don't have much counter cards, so he can get into our life. And then when he already committed a little, then we giving him the counter cards and the Gum Gum Giant and showing him that he definitely don't have any chance. So he already committed, he decided himself to attack and go into life. So at this point we had him in our trap. And yeah, he ignored kind of our Sanji and he didn't play any blocker, so we can just go straight all in. And he didn't even left the Dawn open for Gum Giant. Let's see what his hand was. Yeah, he had a blocker which would have been nice, but we could have KO'd it with our 2-cost event. And the Gum Giant he could have used as well. So yeah, this was probably the wrong idea, but he felt like he can get us after the first blocker. And he probably didn't realize that we had so many characters like 2Ks in hand, and also sometimes the Gum Gum Giant is also a little like a bait, like leaving one Don open. So maybe in this situation he felt like, oh, he's taking the blocker, so he probably doesn't have a lot, and yeah, that's why he could have thought that we are maybe without protection. So now is the last game. Our fourth game for today, the Nico Robin, which is probably one of my favorite matchup. I quite enjoy playing against Nico Robin. I don't know why. Maybe I already talked about this. Maybe I feel like she's a little weak, but I lost also a lot to her. So probably it's not that she is too weak. Anyways, in this situation, we're using the searcher, which is quite nice. Nico Robin is giving us the turn back because she doesn't have any early game character for 2-cost. Then we're playing the Zoro like we usually want to do it, having the Zoro on turn 2 or turn 2, usually the turn 3, is really good for the ramping, getting an extra Dawn, going into life. We really needed to play the Zoro first, even if we got hit from a trigger because of the extra Dawn, so our Luffy can attack with 7, which is way better than attacking only with 6, because then he needs to give us 2 cards or life. So yeah, in this situation, he's thinking a lot. He's playing the Soul and the Mother Robin for some extra hits. And ramping it on, we needed to counter out with 2-2Ks. Probably we could have given him our top life, but I felt like I actually don't want to give him the top life. And we can counter out because the Beppo, for example, which other card we gave? The Yusuf. Okay, the Beppo is kind of nice in the trash because of the Gecko Maria, so we can actually counter out in this situation. So now we got the Frankie, which is perfect for this situation. We can play the next ramping card, use the leader ability, ramp another 2 Dawn, or just 1 and 1 rested, 1 active, 1 rested, going with 5 into life, and then probably with 7 into life, or with 8 or no, maybe with the law into life. I feel like, yeah, 5, 5 and 5, so he needs to give us a lot of cards or take the life. He's giving us 2-2Ks, which is really strong. And he actually don't want to use his blocker. I don't know why. Maybe he wanted to save it. Fair enough. You can definitely do that, especially because Luffy doesn't have so many KOing cards. especially not for a 3 cost, I would guess. So here he's still doing a big mistake. I don't know why. He probably forgot to attach another Don, but he's just doing 1 into 2. Then he is using his Nico Robin, but anyways, it wasn't really like a bad misplay because we would have used our blocker anyways, because we won our blocker in our graveyard, in our trash, to use the Gecko Moria, because we are now in the 8-on turn, which means Gecko Moria it is, because also our opponent doesn't have really a good option for our Kaido to KO. So at this point we probably use the Gecko Moria. Okay, we're going into live, he blocks out, we're going into his Mother Robin. We use the Frankie first and the Beppo and the Gecko Moria because Beppo will give our leader plus 1000, so that's why we can then attack with 6 instead of 5. He's giving us the blocker because I think now he's in a bad situation. He feels a little bad for losing so many cards and lives, and he sees as our board is probably kind of full. So in this situation, he probably decided, okay, time for blocker. We give him the Beppo, is not the most important card. If he attacks Willy into a 2 cost with a 6 cost, then yeah, he can have it. He's KOing our Law, I don't know why. Maybe he thought for going more wider and attacking with several cards, especially he doesn't have so many cards in life and in his hand, so yeah. Then we're using, he's using, oh now it goes a little fast. He's using the Nico Robin. She can trash 1 card from your life if you have more than 3. And then we're using the Kaido in our turn to KO the Nico Robin. And yeah, he probably will lose maybe this round even 5 into life. He needs to take a life. Okay, then we know for sure, like straight into life. We have still 3 attacks left. He's getting the Frankie, which is nice, but he could have needed a soul to the blocker to get out of our hits. So yeah, we won in this situation. Like, this Robin was really in a bad spot. Maybe didn't draw the right cards. Also, she's more like a late game character, and we really got the best curve. Like, this is the best curve that you can do that we had here at the moment. Like, playing the Law first, maybe not ripping, which would have been cool, but anyways, it was a good first turn card. Then the Zoro for ramping, and then the Frankie for ramping again and having a blocker. So this is usually what you want to do. And then in the next turn, going for the Moria, and you're good to go. Usually then you can maybe block with the Frankie, bring it to trash, then playing the Frankie again. Maybe you can discard the Beppo, which is kind of nice as a 2k. So actually really strong combo this way. And then maybe in the end playing a Kaido 2k or something. I mean, to be honest, Nico Robin was maybe not the strongest player here. He did some minor mistakes, and maybe I would have played a little different. But on the other hand, like, he was kind of unlucky also with the triggers. He maybe didn't draw the best cards. He had a lot of Kikonojus, which are not blockers and can maybe not achieve a lot against a board like this. So yeah, he maybe could have threatened me a little more. But was maybe just a little unlucky in this situation, and we had really a good curve. Okay, let's go back to our deck list. And what can we say about the deck list? It definitely works. Like, I quite enjoy it, way more than the other one, which is more based on a classic purple Luffy build. Maybe I can do it in the future as well, but I definitely didn't have so much fun, and I lost also a little more than with this build. Of course, it always takes you some games to understand the leader, understand some cards. You always make minor mistakes, like forgetting, for example, like with the searcher, I didn't know that it only can search cost 2 or greater. Usually it's like everything, so yeah. This was also a surprise for myself. So yeah, sometimes it just happens that you forget also something, especially if you're playing with a lot of deck, just happens. Okay, what can I say about the deck list in general? Um, what could we do different? I feel like the Top Knot is a cool card, cool tech choice, especially against a lot of strong decks like with 4 cost, like Doffy, Boa, for example, or also Bellobetti, some more aggressive builds. Also, it ramps the Don because of the minus Don, 2 Don with the leader, which is really nice and really beneficial for our leader. On the other hand, 3 is maybe a lot. I had some games where I draw also all 2 or 3, like 2 of them or 3 of them, and it felt a little bricky, especially if you play against some opponents which doesn't play any good 4 cost characters or even 4 cost characters. Sometimes you just have, for example, like Buggy. This card is completely useless, and yeah, it felt a little like the Edward Newgate in Shanks. You want to see it in certain matchup, and it's really strong. But I felt like 3 of is maybe too much, especially if you can choose who you're playing against. Of course, I tried a big variety, and some people have different deck lists. Maybe if you're going for a local play or for yeah, more like a random mix for more like a tournament, then maybe a 3 of is a good way to go. Especially if you think you will play against a lot of Doffy decks. But yeah, for my build, I would probably change the Top Knot, take it out, and maybe also one Sanji. I felt like it didn't came up so often. Usually you want to use your Don for playing characters and not so often to take it for the leader and then KOs the 5 cost. Also, 5 cost is definitely not a magical number, and he's also not a rush character or yeah, some special cards. So it felt sometimes a little slow to KO just the 5 cost. But it's definitely a cool card. Like if you have a blocker, for example, and you don't have the 7, like the opponent has a blocker and you don't have a 7 Dons already or important 5 cost, because not so many characters can KO 5 cost. This card is actually quite nice. What are the I mean, like, also before I go, what are the best cards? Maybe Kaido could be also changed. I'm not sure. Like, a 6 cost or higher, you can feel like that this character is kind of, yeah, a little old school. 6 cost is definitely not too high. It's cool for 10,000 and Rush. It's really nice, but carrying a 6 cost and losing 5 Don is a little expensive. Maybe the new Secret Rare Luffy is maybe a better choice. But he also has the advantage to, oh, I maybe should have put my video back on the bottom right. So you can see it, like he definitely have the advantage of the -5 Don for our ramping, but -5 Don is also a lot. So yeah, I'm not so sure about this actually, like about the Kaido. Maybe I would try to play the Secret Rare in the future, because a lot of other deck lists of the Luffy playing actually the 5 cost. But this one is also a good answer for the Jozu. So I feel like this one looks like a typical Doffy beating deck. Like this one for 2Ks, this one here also another blocker for a lot of rush cards. We also don't play the Bon Clay, the Secret Rare. So this deck list for everybody who wants to play on locals and or at home or with friends, this is definitely a really budget-friendly deck. This one was expensive, got a reprint. I feel like this one is probably the most expensive card here, because it comes from a structure deck. It's only 2 of their secret is super rare. Maybe this one is also a little expensive, but I think it's also maybe just some euros or some dollars. And yeah, in general, this deck is really budget friendly. It's kind of strong. It makes a lot of fun. It's cool to play. So what are the best cards? Definitely the Frankie is like the MVP blocker. Getting +1 card, using the leader ability for ramping, really strong. I never played the Black Maria, which was kind of sad. Black Maria is really good in combination with the Kaido, but in general, Black Maria, the only time I played it, it went back to my hand, which is also not so bad because it's a 2K counter. But yeah, you can also maybe just use it as a tech choice. Sometimes you maybe lose your Dawn more faster, especially if you play the Kaido first. Then you can play her and getting a lot of Dawn back, maybe is also a good idea. I don't know, but I feel like in general she was really not so much used. I feel like this one could be also exchanged for something. I mean, we have 6 blockers. This deck needs his blockers or the blockers in general for some protection because it's kind of slow. You need to have the Gecko Moria. Blackbeard is kind of a strong opponent against this deck because of the big on-play effects, and a lot of his characters are dependent on the on-play, especially for the leader ability, and we actually don't have so many big characters, maybe just 3, and this is technically not a really big character. Yeah, anyways, Gum Gum Giant is one of the strong cards which was always played. This one is also MVP. I feel like this twos are the important characters for the combo, for the build up of the deck, especially with this one as first for searching. And Gecko Moria best follow up, taking from trash this two. Actually, I didn't use this so much, but it was kind of nice for having some bricks in hand, or if you want to discard, especially one of the Sanjis, was actually a nice addition. And Gum Gum Lightning was also kind of cool. So maybe in the future, Gum Gum Lightning is maybe better than the Kaido for KOing something. Maybe I would play another Gum Gum Lightning, especially as you can, the effect, the trigger says set up 1 Don from your Don deck. You could also play the Bon Clay, which is a strong 4-cost character, also for ramping and copying the attack. So yeah, I feel like these are kind of like the options for the deck, which you could go. I think the Chicky is kind of nice. Oh yeah, he's actually another blocker. It's also kind of nice. If he's in the trash, you can play him also for the Gecko Moria, because you definitely need some options. The other list I played with the more purple Luffy kind of style build, I never had a 2-cost for Gecko Moria, and I feel like the Beppo is really good, especially because it's a 2K, so you can counter out with him kind of aggressive, and then use the Gecko Moria to play. Okay, anyways, you can see I like the deck a lot. I yeah, talked a lot about the deck in general, so yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay as much as I did, and yeah, if you liked the video, please like the please give a like, comment about the video, what you like, what you didn't like, give me some feedback if you have something that you would like to see, if you would like to comment on something, and yeah, thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.